Thank you everyone for coming this morning. I'm Alan Bodie. I'm the Chief Assistant DA for Ray Tierney. DA Tierney had a family commitment today, so he couldn't be here, but he's going up with us to Albany on Monday. We're here today with this rally with all of our law enforcement and community partners to bring families who've lost loved ones to this opioid crisis to you. We're taking a bus trip up to Albany on Monday to rally for some common sense changes to our laws to fight this opioid crisis. And, before we talk about those changes and the problem, I just want to introduce everyone here so that you all know who's here. And I'm going to start with the families because they're the reason why we're here. First off, we have Sue and Jean Murray. Where are the Murrays? Mr. and Mrs. Murray? Okay, right, good. Thank you. Okay. So Sue and Jean, their daughter Chelsea is the Chelsea who Chelsea's Law is named after. That's one of the bills we're going to talk about today. Chelsea was 31 years old when she passed from a fentanyl overdose in 2022. The Murrays also previously lost their son Michael to an overdose as well. Maria Strokia, I probably said it wrong, Maria. She lost her son Anthony at age 28 in 2020. Sherry Grella, she lost her son Robert, and Sherry also is going to talk to you about some of her battles with fentanyl as well. Carol, I know I'm going to say it wrong, Trottier, lost her son Alex at age 30 in 2018. Allison Van Cott lost her brother Stephen in 2017. Claudia Frizzell, if I said it okay. Yes. Oh, there we go. Hi, Claudia. Lost her son Mark Lewis at age 16. That's awful. Linda Ventura, who founded Thomas's Hope, lost her son Thomas at age 21, I believe. Lori Carbonaro, who lost her son Nick at age 22. Dorothy Johnson, who lost her son Max. Did I miss anybody? Yes.
My son Danny.
Danny?
Yes.
How old was Danny?
2019.
And how old was Danny?
22.
22.
And also Alexis Schifferstein.
Alexis?
She was 21.
21.
22, I mean. And 2021 she passed.
Alexis in 2021. So the families are the reason why we're here, and that's why I wanted to introduce them first. We're also very happy to have with us our newly elected county executive, Ed Romaine, here. I'm also joined by our partner in law enforcement from Nassau County, Ann Donnelly. Our Suffolk County Sheriff, Errol Toulon Jr. And before I get to our legislators, there's one more person I want to mention who's not up here. I saw her hiding over there. Megan O'Donnell is one of our division chiefs. And the reason why I wanted to highlight Megan is Megan has been helping us put all this together on our legislative push up in Albany. So thank you, Megan. So from our New York State legislature, we have bipartisan support, folks, and that's what's important about this. Fentanyl and the opioid crisis, it doesn't discriminate based on party. It is a bipartisan crisis, and it needs to be treated as such. So we have from the New York State Assembly, Steve Stern. We also have Senator Dean Murray, Senator Steve Rhodes, Senator Anthony Palumbo, Senator Mario Matera, and we have Assemblyman Keith Brown. And did I miss anyone? I think we're good. I see some of our town leaders here as well. I see Richie Schaefer from Town of Babylon. And Richie wears two hats. He's also the Suffolk County Democratic Party leader. And as I said, this is a bipartisan crisis and it needs to be treated in such a manner. We have from our Suffolk County legislature, our presiding officer, Kevin McCaffrey. I don't know if our minority leader, Jason Richburg, I don't know if he made it this morning, but I know he's been very supportive of these efforts. And do I miss anybody else from our legislature? Okay. Thank you. From law enforcement, unions, and treatment community, just because I want to really convey how broad the support is for this change that we need. We have the Suffolk County Superior Officers Association President Jim Grunfelder. I'm going to read them all and then let's clap at the end, okay? We have the Deputy Sheriff's PBA President John Becker, Suffolk County Corrections Officers Association President Lou Viscuzzi, Suffolk County PBA President Lou Savello, the Southampton PBA, the Police Association of Suffolk County, Eastern Long Island Police Conference of New York, the Police Conference of New York, Asian Jade Society, Suffolk Detectives Association. And let me say, our law enforcement unions are helping us on Monday. They have paid for the bus to bring all these families up to lobby in Albany. They're helping with the cost of that. So we really appreciate their help. And also we have union support. We have Locals Union 200, the plumbers, Locals Union 25, the electricians, Local Union 806, which is the painters, which Mr. Murray's a member of. We also have Local Union 66. I know President Joe Montalbano's here. We have our treatment community. Anthony Rizzuto, who's the founder of Families in Need of Service and Treatment, FIST. He's the director of Seafield. We have Steve Chasman, the director of LICAD. We have the New York Turkish American Center. So a real bipartisan and broad support that change is needed. So what's the problem here that we want to talk about? Why does Albany need to hear from these families? Because this opioid crisis is an epidemic. It's the leading cause of death for young people 18 to 50 years old. Last year, 110,000 Americans died of opioid overdoses. That's more than the entire Vietnam War put together, all the years of the Vietnam War put together. This needs to be treated like a crisis. There needs to be marches. There needs to be rallies like this, that change is necessary. 300 people a day die in the United States of opioid overdoses. It's like a jumbo jet crashing every day in the United States. As prosecutors, DA Donnelly and the prosecutors in the Suffolk District Attorney's Office, we can't ask for bail on a fentanyl dealer unless they deal enough fentanyl to kill 114,000 people. We cannot ask for bail until somebody dies. If we are able to charge a dealer, all we can charge them with is the drug sale. There is no additional penalty whatsoever for selling drugs that you know are going to kill someone. We can only charge you with the drug sale. Xylazine is not illegal to sell in New York State. It's not prescription. Our medical examiner just gave us figures the last couple days for Suffolk County. They're finding xylazine, which is tranq, which rots your flesh, in 20% of the autopsies here in Suffolk County. So it's a growing problem, and it's not yet illegal. And probably most sad of all, even if we're able to charge the dealers with the drug sale that caused the death of a young person, the families are kept out of the Crime Victims Fund. They're not eligible to get even money to bury their loved ones, and that's wrong. That's why we're here today, and that's why Albany needs to hear from these families, and that's why we're going to bring these families up to Albany so that our legislature will hear from them. So, first speaker I'm going to turn this over to is our new county executive, Ed Romaine. And just before I do so, I just want you all to know, Ed's been on the job 5 days. And the reason you're not all standing in goose poop is because Ed's Department of Public Works came out this morning and took care of business and trimmed the hedges. So thank you, Ed.
Good job. Well, hopefully the DA has better office accommodations. One of the things he mentioned to me is his windows leak when it rains. So we're going to work on that, Alan. But we're here for a very serious matter. In this county, last year, 400 people died of fentanyl overdoses. Think about that. I know some of the people here. I've met with them. I've talked with them. We've had rallies at Brookhaven Town that we have to petition the state. And I listened to the DA. And he told me, you know, if a mosquito lands on your arm, oops, like that one, the weight of that mosquito in fentanyl is enough to kill you. And yet they can't charge someone or hold them for bail unless it's many, many, many times that. The fact that the victims of this fentanyl crisis, the families don't get victims' compensation to help bury their dead. I don't know what we're thinking in the state, but we've got to think differently. I'm 100% behind these changes, and I will make this one simple commitment. As county executive, we are going to make sure that we have the police, detectives, superior officers necessary to address this crisis and work hand and glove with our health department, which has to give a greater priority to this epidemic, and they will have the resources. This is a battle. I'm not sending our army to war against the drug dealers without the equipment and tools to get the job done. Let's get this job done. Let's convince Albany of the changes. Let's work locally here to make sure we put a stop to this epidemic. Let's save our young. Let's do what we need to do. Thank you.
And now I'd like to introduce our partner in law enforcement, Nassau County District Attorney Ann Donnelly.
Good morning, everyone. I will say this. Alan used the right word. This is a crisis, and we are at war, Ed. I am proud to stand next to Ray Tierney and work together to try to get this bill passed in Albany. We are losing our young people to fentanyl. Families are being broken because of fentanyl. It's the most difficult thing as part of my job when I have to meet with families who have lost their loved ones because a drug dealer laced his drugs with fentanyl and it killed their child or their loved one. The law needs to be changed. It needs to catch up with what's happening on Long Island and across the state. And I have hope with the bipartisan support that this bill is getting, that we can get this passed. It will give DA Tierney and I the tools to prosecute the people who are killing our children. And that, at the end of the day, is the goal. To support these families and to prosecute the person who commits the crime. So I want to thank Suffolk County DA Ray Tierney, Alan, for having me here today to give me a moment to speak to you. And I will be in Albany, standing next to everybody, lobbying to get this bill passed. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to introduce Lou Savello. We have a lot of police union support, but I'm not letting them all speak. But Lou has been our partner in helping to get this done, so I really wanted to give him a moment, if you would, Lou.
Thank you, Alan. First, let me just say it's staggering to hear that list of young lives taken before their time. My condolences to everyone here that has lost a loved one. My heart and my prayers go out to you all, and thank you for being here today and standing with us. We have police officers that are going to travel up with our DA to Albany with this impending snowstorm after just having worked the holidays. They're going to head there to deliver a message. And the message is, give us the tools we need to do our job. Give our prosecutors the tools they need to do their jobs. Are we so misguided? Are we so perverse in our morals that we treat victims this way, that they cannot bury their dead? We treat drug dealers as if they were the victims? This needs to change. This is not a partisan issue. As Alan said, fentanyl kills Democrats and Republicans alike. Our communities, our children are being poisoned. We're asking for common sense changes here, common sense changes that will allow your law enforcement, your police, your prosecutors to stem the tide of death and poison coming into our communities from this drug fentanyl. I just pray that when we get there, they listen and make these common sense changes. Alan, thank you for including us. We're proud to stand with you.
Next, folks, I'd like you to be able to hear from some of the families of these victims. So I've asked the Murrays if they would speak. Sue, Jean, if up this side. There you go. Come on up.
Thank you. My wife Sue and I would like to thank everybody that's behind this bill. It's not just about Chelsea, my daughter. It's about all the families that have lost everybody over the years. We have to change the laws because right now nobody is being held accountable for dealing death, is what it is. The fentanyl that killed my daughter was a tiny amount, but it was deadly. They get in and out of prison a couple years. The families are suffering for their lives. So I just want to thank District Attorney Ray Tierney, his staff, and all the law enforcement and politicians that are behind this, because this has to change. If it doesn't, this is just going to go on for years and years to come. So thank you so much for the support and coming out. All right, thank you.
Next, Sherry Grella is going to talk to us about her son Robert and about her own, battles.
Good morning. I'm honored to be here today. My name is Sherry Grella, and I've struggled with substance abuse. I, too, have suffered from overdoses and have been subjected to fentanyl poisoning. Today, I live a life in sustained recovery. I am a member of that group that no parent should ever have to join. I'm tired of seeing the people that I love be purposely poisoned through these drugs laced with fentanyl. I wholeheartedly support these bills to hold these criminals responsible for these needless deaths, for they are poisoning everything with no regard to life. Thank you so much.
Excuse me. Now I'm going to turn it over. We've talked about the problem. I want to talk about solutions and what we can do about this problem. And so don't be intimidated that we have how many legislators we have here today. We've told them we get one from the Assembly and one from the Senate side, but we appreciate all of their support. So I'm going to start with Assemblyman Steve Stern. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm New York State Assemblyman Steve Stern. Alan, thank you. Thank you to you, to District Attorney Ray Tierney, for hosting us today to discuss a public safety issue, a public health issue, but I'm sure all of my colleagues would agree, one of the most critically important moral issues of our time. I can't thank victims' families for being here enough. You provide the light, you provide the guidance for all of us to follow. We all agree that too many of our loved ones, too many of our neighbors, too many within our community are dying, and we need to do much more. The initiatives that we are bringing to Albany will have, when enacted, make an immediate impact. And we are very confident when we go up and have that discussion with our colleagues up in Albany that they will see it the same way. These are initiatives that go directly to deaths by dealer and Chelsea's Law to hold accountable as drug-induced manslaughter for the true cost of the crime committed. Provide the district attorneys with the ability to seek bail in these kinds of crimes. Crack down on the use of xylazine, which, as Alan had described, is utilized in an alarming an alarming number of overdose that we've experienced here in Suffolk County, and to provide access to the Victims' Compensation Fund. You cannot tell me, after spending just a few moments with the families of the victims, and to look at the pictures of the loved ones that they've lost, that these family members are not victims themselves. I want to thank you. Thank you to District Attorney Ray Tierney, District Attorney Donnelly. Thank you to the Chief Assistant District Attorney Alan Bodie for all of your assistance, to District Attorney Jed Painter, Megan, for you and all of your assistance and all that we've been able to do together, and look forward to greater accomplishments going forward. I'm proud to be the Assembly sponsor of these legislative initiatives. But I got to tell you, I'm just as proud as to how we were able to draft these legislative initiatives. This is how good policy gets done. This is how you bring together stakeholders. This is how you bring together professionals. This is how you bring together the local heroes of our law enforcement and those that are on the front lines in drug treatment centers and doing the hard work. Most importantly, this is how you bring together the victims, families, who always should have a word to say in how we create policy going forward. So I'm proud to be the sponsor of these initiatives. I'm proud to work with my colleagues in the Senate. Many of us were just at the LIA before coming here, and we heard our new county executive, Ed Romaine. I wrote it down because I wanted to repeat it for today. Ed Romaine shared with us that he's very proud of doing what works. Today, as policymakers, with everybody's support and all of the professionals having input into good legislation, good policy, we are bringing this message to Albany that it's time, particularly when it comes to saving lives, that we all have an obligation to do what works. And so we know that New York State is behind. We do have a long way to go, and we have to lead. And on Monday, all of us together, in one strong and very loud voice, to policymakers up in Albany and all throughout New York State, we will send this urgent message. Thank you.
And from the New York State Senate, we have Senator Dean Murray here to speak today.
Thank you, Alan. Let me start by thanking DA Tierney, DA Donnelly, Alan, Megan, for all the hard work. As you heard Steve talking about putting these package of bills together, this has been months and months of work back and forth in putting it together to get it right. Why? Why is it important that we get it right? Because, my God, we're talking about saving lives here. You listen to these stories and your heart breaks. You say, why aren't we doing more? Why are we not setting bail and keeping them behind bars? Why can a family not get the help they need to bury their loved one when obviously a crime has been committed? Why are we using xylazine? Is a drug that is used for agricultural use for large animals to sedate them. They're cutting the fentanyl with xylazine to make it even deadlier. And yet it's not illegal right now for that? That's crazy. These bills and this package of bills we're talking about, as I said, this is life and death. It doesn't get any more important than that. We pass thousands of bills each year up in Albany, but this package of 4 bills, this literally is about life and death. So I want to thank our DAs. I want to thank our law enforcement, my lawmakers that are with me on the state and the county level. In particular, I want to thank Assemblyman Stern for working together with me, and the sponsors in the Senate, Senator Rhodes, Senator Palumbo, again, Senator Matera. We've been working on this for a long time, but mostly I want to say thank you. And for right now, I want to say I'm sorry that we even haven't done this yet, but to the families, God bless you for coming up and sharing your stories, your pain, your heartache. Now we're going to take it to Albany, and they're going to hear it. And they'd better damn well get together and get this done. So thank you.
one more thing. The town of Babylon, Rich, if you could come up. The town of Babylon passed some resolutions in support, and I wanted to give you a moment, Rich,
Sure.
if you would.
Thank you very much, Alan, and thank you to DA Tierney, DA Donnelly, and all of the district attorneys working to provide the professional assistance to Assemblyman Stern, to Senator Murray, as well as thank you to the treatment community working together, and most importantly, thank you to the families, because I know every time you have to put the picture in front of you and have the conversation about the loss that you've experienced, it just reopens and forces you to relive that day, that tragic day, each and every day. What we did on December 20th as a Babylon Town Board, we passed a unanimously approved resolution that supported Suffolk County District Attorney Raymond A. Tierney's public campaign and efforts to change New York state law relating to fentanyl. And it describes everything that the speakers have said previous to me. But we want you to take this resolution and let the Assembly people and the senators know that we are dead serious about this. We're not going to let up. We're going to make sure that we continue the campaign to support those state legislators that wish to make the right changes. And I can tell you, I know the county executive is a former town supervisor, but we're going to get every town on Long Island to pass a similar resolution. That way you could be armed with information that says, again, this is not a partisan issue. This is not about relitigating anything that's been discussed in the past about bail laws, and that they need to get it right. As Senator Murray said, they need to get it right. And we're going to stand with you until that happens before the end of session and make sure that the governor signs these bills. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. So that's it for today, folks, but this is not ending. We are going up. We're starting at, I think, at 4:30 in the morning on Monday. I apologize. Yes. Our police union friends are buying the coffee. Thank you. But this is not going to be done even Monday. We are going to keep pushing this issue. This is important. As everyone has said, it's life and death. It's not partisan. It's bipartisan. And this is a crisis. People are dying. Young people are dying, and we have to do something. So thank you, everyone, for coming today.
Thank you.